Performance contracting is really nothing more than a alternative procurement method by which you leverage savings from improvements to pay for the improvements themselves over a period of time.
That's probably one of the hardest things that we actually have to do every day is explain that concept.
And helping people understand that what you're doing with performance contracting is diverting funds from operating funds, not from capital dollars. Performance contracting lets you preserve your capital dollars.
So every dollar of investment is investment in a public facility. So it's new lights, heating systems, roofs, doors, windows, all kinds of infrastructure improvements in public facilities that are paid from savings.
And so many maintenance staffs have the requirement to, on a shoestring budget and with rubber bands, make things work that should have died 5 years prior. So we enable them by putting stuff into play all at once up front.
So on one hand, it's always an interesting balancing situation when we come in as an energy services company to come in and work with an end user or a university or a school system, because we actually work very hard to help the maintenance staff be heard. We draw them in to make sure that the projects are co-developed and they're a part of that. They have input into the contractors, the equipment, the supplies.
So we give them the ability by this time compression, getting the work done now, so that they're not in a reactive mode, they can go into a proactive mode. And that will mean they can maintain the facilities better over time, given new equipment, new technologies, better ability to control the systems.
With lighting, with water fixtures, with plumbing, with HVAC, when a guy pulls up to the site, he doesn't have to wonder what is at that school or at that building. They can actually go to their truck, pull off what they need to fix the problem without having to go take another hour, go to the parts store and come back. So standardization is a gigantic thing that we can bring to the table.
Performance contracting applies to all sorts of markets, whether it's local government or state government or hospital or industrial or universities.
You need to have a vision of where your organization, where your entity is now, and where you want it to be, and how an EPC can fit into that. So having, beginning with the end in mind, and really taking on an energy services company as a trusted advisor and a partner in a long-term relationship, I think to me is one of the most important qualifications.
So why wouldn't we start the concept of an energy savings performance contract and then reach out and say, well, besides the technologies that we were planning on using, and perhaps there's some ARRA dollars available, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act dollars that we can use, and then we want to look on the website and see if there are any particular technology incentives that we can use, and then we want to find experts and say, how do we employ all of this in a fashion that we get the biggest bang for the buck?
There's all kinds of avenues by which dollars can flow into a project. And one of the key messages that was presented today is, look at them all.
It usually is either cash, green works too, or a tax-exempt municipal lease. And the tax-exempt municipal lease is a very low rate, long-term instrument that allows the purchase of the improvements to occur over a long term.
What the ESCOs can actually do is they can actually track and guarantee the units that you're going to save. If TVA goes up on their rates, it's a linear approach. We're going to save the same amount. So if it's a fixed amount that your debt service has, the actual amount that you're going to save is going to be fixed.
PC is not a four-letter word. Performance contracting is an extremely proven, natural way for state agencies to address their infrastructure needs with a budget neutral or a positive situation for the budgets. Risk-free, it's a very fiscally responsible way to address their needs.
So it's real.
Oh, it's very real. Been around for 30 years, it's very real.